The whole industry has been, of course, hit by the COVID pandemic across the world. We've all seen that. And we're now seeing it coming out of that. So the longer term impact, I think, won't be significant. But the recovery is in train, but is not yet completed. I think we're going to see that the domestic internal recovery in some of the big countries will be the first. And we're seeing that already now. Some countries almost up to 100% or beyond 2019 levels. There will be then a gradual extension of regional flights. And we're seeing that now. I think in the Middle East region, we will see that a bit in Europe coming quite soon. I think some of the Asian region looks a bit slower, but that will be regional, will be the next way forward. And the third will be the long haul international travel, because until we've got a high degree of vaccination across the world, and then governments agreeing on the protocols and the quarantine arrangements and so on for global travel, that will hold back international travel for that period. But for the long term, I think we'll be back to where we were before. I mean, our view is that, a bit like IATA, about 3 years after 2019, we'll be back to where we were, with the long-term trend growth being not much different to what it was as before we went into the crisis. So the long-term prospect for the industry is a very strong one. By 20 years from now, we will have roughly doubled the world's commercial fleet. And that's a very important statistic for all of us in the industry. Well, I think it's extremely important, for two reasons. Because, first of all, as we come out of the crisis, some of this aviation setback, all of the industry, customers, suppliers, OEMs, we need to get together as we always do. We've missed seeing each other. We've been working together. We've been working virtually, but we haven't seen each other. And the great thing about air shows in general is that that's a sort of meeting place. It's a marketplace where we do business together. But this one is the first major air show since the crisis. So you're doubly important to have Dubai center stage, really, for the global aviation and aerospace industry. So we're all very excited. And Boeing will obviously be there in strength. We're looking forward to that very much. We're putting quite a lot of emphasis now on sustainable aviation, because I mentioned that point about 80% of the world not yet having flown and wanting to fly, but they also want to fly sustainably. And you've seen the debate on that, the political debate on that across the world. I mean, not particularly led, but very strong in Europe and now in the United States with the new president. So sustainable aviation is a big issue for us. And we're working very hard on that. The first thing we've got to do is to get sustainable aviation fuel both developed and then used globally. And actually, we work with the UAE on that. We've got a rather exciting research project in the UAE on how we can develop biofuels for plant stuff that is happy in seawater. Just a little example. But there are other examples around the world how we do that. So that would be a big thing for us. And then there's always a defense element as well. I mean, we have defense platforms that we in the region on as well.